Well, for most of us, we're well into the second month of social isolation, of lockdown, of being alone. And for some people, that's really, really difficult. For those who are extroverts, who love mixing with people, that's tough. For those who are alone, living on their own, the elderly, that's really hard. And even for those living in families where there's conflict, where perhaps there's domestic violence, man, that is so hard. You know, it's just a few weeks ago that I was sitting on the front porch of a friend in Windhoek in Namibia having a braai, a barbecue. But yet that seems like a lifetime ago. I came back, we went straight into isolation, and here we've been for the best part of 5 or 6 weeks. How are you coping with the isolation? How are you coping with the loneliness, the being apart, missing out on the normal social interactions that we have? You know, it's not till we're locked down like this that we realize how important those relationships are. Depression is on the rise. Those who have suicide prevention lines, those lines are getting record calls. How does a person of faith, how does someone who says they believe in Jesus cope with the isolation? Well, let me tell you, there is one person who hasn't left you. And that person is God. If you believe in Jesus, then He has placed His Spirit, the Holy Spirit, within you. And He is right here with you now to comfort you, to draw you close, to speak with you, to listen to you, to put His arms around you. Psalm 46 is one of my favourite psalms. It paints a picture of utter devastation. It paints a picture of the earth moving, of mountains falling into the sea, of foaming, roaring, stormy oceans. And for the Hebrew people, that was frightening because they were not a seafaring nation. And yet in the middle of all of that, God says this in verse 4. There is a river whose streams make glad the city of God, the holy habitation of the Most High. In other words, right in the middle of the devastation, there is a joy, there is something available to the man or the woman or the child of faith, the very presence of God, a river of joy running right through the middle of our lives. We have a huge opportunity in this time of isolation, in these difficult times where many people are fearful, many people are worried. Some have lost their jobs, some have lost family members. We have a huge opportunity in the middle of all of this to experience the peace of God that passes all understanding, to experience the joy, the river of joy of God. Later on in that psalm, God tells us how. He says, be still and know that I am God. Be still, get still before God. Many people know about God. Far fewer know God. This difficult time, this time of uncertainty and isolation, is your opportunity to draw closer to God. Be still and know that He is God.